This video is for all of you out there who just got a Silhouette machine and are looking to make your first cut. Today I'll be using my Silhouette Cameo, but most if not all of this information will also apply to you if you have purchased a Silhouette Portrait. So first thing we're going to do is from inside the software, which you should have already downloaded onto your computer, we're going to go ahead and open up a shape. And we'll do that by going to the little book icon on the left here, and when you click on it, it will bring up your library. And you'll see a bunch of shapes here. In your library folder, you will get 50 free shapes that come already downloaded with the software, and they may or may not look like the ones that I have here. And you can add to that library by purchasing other shapes, and you can see to the left I have many shapes in my library. But we can go ahead, so you can choose one of the shapes from your library, or if you'd like, you can go to the Silhouette online store by clicking on the icon right underneath the library, the little S, and searching for any shape that you would like in the Silhouette online store. But today we're going to just go ahead and go to the library, and I'm going to open up this basketball. And just open it by double clicking, and it will put it onto my workspace here. And you can click on it and move it around, and you can resize the shape by clicking on the little corners and dragging them, and that will size it proportionately. Or you can click on the side or the middle ones and drag them, and it will resize it, but it will not keep it proportionate. Or you can go up to at the top right to the scale window, and you can choose to make it a percentage of the original size, or if you'd like, you can type in specific dimensions if you know exactly what size you need. In this case, I'm just going to go ahead and drag the corners to resize my shape. And then what you'll probably notice is that these two shapes are grouped together, but I want to cut the left part in black and the right part in orange so that when I layer them together it looks like a basketball, but right now they're connected. So I'm going to right click on it and choose Ungroup, and that will separate the shapes for me, and then I can move them around on their own. So I'm just going to go ahead and move these around on the mat. Now there's a few ways you can do this. You can put one shape on the mat, put your paper on, load it and cut it, and then put the next shape on the mat, load it and cut it out. But I have two pieces of scrap paper that I want to use, and I'd rather just cut both shapes out at the same time. So what I'm going to do is put both pieces on my mat, and then I'm going to make it so that I can just cut my scraps to the right size so that I can cut each one out of a different color. So I'm going to go to my Page Tools window, and you can see there's this little slider that says Reveal Cutting Mat, and you can, that will do exactly what it says. It will reveal the cutting mat. So this now looks like what your cutting mat will look like that you feed into your machine. And then I can move my shapes onto my mat to see exactly how big I need the piece of paper to be. And each one of these squares is 1 inch. So I know that these pieces that my scrap pieces need to be 3 by 3 because the square is 3 by 3. So that makes it easy for me to use up my scraps and cut out both shapes at once. Now also, if you need to, in the page settings, you can this is where you'll change the size of your paper, 12 by 12 letter, whatever. We're going to go ahead and leave it at 12 by 12 for now. And next thing we're going to do is we're about ready to cut now. So you can go to the Cut Settings window, and this is where we're going to choose the type of material that we're going to cut from. You can see at the top when we go to that, it's going to show you where you feed it into the machine, the little bar. So it's just kind of a good indicator of how this will feed into your machine. So you can see in the Cut Settings drop down that there are all different types of materials you can cut, and when you click on those different materials, it will change the settings that are below. So when I click on double-sided adhesive, for example, it tells me I need to adjust my blade to 4. Glitter cardstock, adjust your blade to 6, and it also shows you the speed and thickness, which it automatically adjusts for you. You don't have to do anything for that. So you can see I've adjusted my settings to textured cardstock, and it tells me I need to adjust my blade to 5, which I'll do in just a minute, and it will automatically adjust the speed and thickness and tell me that I need to use a cutting mat with textured cardstock. If I need to, I can do a test cut by clicking on test cut there. So next thing I'm going to do is go to the send to silhouette button at the top left, and it kind of gives me instructions on what I need to do. So it tells me where to set my rollers. Now since we're using a mat, we're just going to leave it at 13 inches. It tells me where to place the page onto the cutting mat. Set the silhouette display to load cutting mat, which we'll do in a second also. And then if I need to change my settings at all, I can do it from here by clicking on change settings. Now I need to go ahead and load my mat. So if you haven't already, go ahead and turn on your machine and go ahead and open it also. And you can see on the display screen that you've got 3 options: load cutting mat, load media, and unload. And you can use the arrow keys to select different options. We're going to choose load cutting mat since we're using the cutting mat, but if I were using vinyl or something that doesn't need a cutting mat, I can choose load media. So now we're going to adjust the blade, and I'll just turn the little blue latch to the left, pull the blade out of its housing, and you can see that the numbers on the blade go from 0 to 10, and there will be a little red line indicating what it's at right now. So right now it's at a 3, and I need it to be at a 5. So I'll just go ahead and put the blade